IVC, Dale Gate 433, here to do a bit of a show and tell video combined with a finds video. A finds video stretching right back to, well, more than a year now. So this is quite a niche. This is around Ennio Morricone, the Italian soundtrack composer and maestro, and a series of releases that was put out, as I said, from the beginning of last year, called Themes. So this is it. 5-record double record set, which if you buy it in the mall, you get, it makes up a picture and Morricone, whichever round it is. So I picked up the first one, and then of course then you're hooked, and I had to pick up all 5 so I can finish that picture off. No, all 5, because I was intrigued. So yeah, so I dabble in all sorts of music. My interests are very broad, and I do like soundtracks, and I do like Ennio Morricone, and his catalogue is vast. I think he's made, I think 300 or 400, at least nearly 400 film soundtracks, or he sadly died last year. He made, I say, around 400 soundtracks. A lot of them very elusive, a lot of them maybe not even released, a lot of them released on very limited runs in Italy back in the day, or US back in the day, and incredibly hard to get hold of. So hence there is also a huge catalogue of Ennio Morricone compilations of his music. So that is an equally daunting field of about 400 releases. So this, so I've got several CDs, several albums. I've only got about 3 or 4 or 5 actual full soundtracks from films that he did the music for. Other than that, it's all compilations, and that's what this is. So this is 5 double compilation albums, all themed around a certain film genre. So the first one I picked up, which was at the beginning of, I can't remember whether it was like February, March last year, is Western is the theme. So yes, Ennio Morricone is, very famous for the soundtracks to the spaghetti westerns of the 60s, and this album compiles a number of tracks. Each of these releases, they came in a kind of thick clear plastic with a kind of a hype sticker on it. They're numbered, and these are all the coloured vinyl versions. I'm not sure if black vinyl versions have been made of these, but these are the coloured vinyl versions. And as you can see on this one, each one has got sort of a little bit of elaboration of the artwork. So this has got a little bit of kind of, well, it's not spot varnish quite, spot painted metallic going on. Inside each are film posters from the films featured, or certainly Ennio Morricone Western films. I haven't cross-referenced it to ensure that each of those film posters matches the films that are showcased in the compilation. And this one, as I say, they all come on coloured vinyl. I'm not going to show the vinyl on them apart from this one because it's not show. So this is on Gunsmoke, I think, Gunsmoke vinyl, clear vinyl, quite nice. Music on Vinyl have released these, so they're all pretty high quality. I think I've had lots and lots of music on vinyl releases over the years, and their quality control tends to be pretty good. Their pressings are always pretty flat, pretty quiet, and good sounding. I can't vouch for the source, whether it's analog or digital, but my ears are not sophisticated enough to probably tell that anyway. So one other thing to say, let me just put this down here. So yeah, so soundtracks are a big part of my sort of musical journey of life. I remember getting as a kid, so often on the VC threads there's a, you know, what was your first album. I can remember my first like proper album that I bought, but as a kid I used to get, and I haven't got them anymore, the Jeff Love big movie themes. So this is the big movie themes, but there were also Big Terror, Big Bond, Big War. I had those as a kid, you know, sort of 10-year-old. It's been turned into a divider now. This is a ropey copy, but yeah. So that's like Jeff Love Orchestra doing his versions of the movie theme, so not the actual movie theme. So now I would be more inclined to pick up the movie themes from, you know, the actual movie themes done as they were originally intended. So that's a bit of a side. So that's why this was an interest to me, and that's why how I kind of got into down the Morricone route, because I was certainly very interested as a kid in watching spaghetti westerns. That's something I used to kind of watch with my father and enjoy watching. The famous spaghetti westerns, you know, The Good, the Bad and the Ugly, Fistful of Dollars, etc., etc. So that's what this first one deals with. So it has got the obvious. It's got Fistful of Dollars. It's got the theme from Once Upon a Time in the West. It's got The Good, the Bad and the Ugly. But then it's got you know, others. So from films Death Rides a Horse, Bullets Don't Argue, Big Gun Down, Hellbenders, Return of Ringo, Compañeros, A Pistol for Ringo. So there are plenty on there, and they're all, you know, that classic spaghetti western. Often there are some comedy western songs, a couple of comedy western vocals. There are some songs, and I don't know if the compilation has been done by, but each one of these, as well as obviously coming on, having the information here, coming on coloured vinyl, each of these releases comes with an insert. That insert follows a kind of a similar theme. So it's got a version of the front cover on it, and then what it's got inside is, for each track, it says a little bit about each. So it's a little bit about the Western concept, and then Ennio Morricone's Western soundtracks, and then for each track a little bit about that track, which film it was in, why, and what it was kind of trying to follow. And these are all written by an Italian music journalist and you know, keen soundtrack collector called Claudio Fuiano. He's written the inserts for all 5 of these releases, so that's interesting. And so the way that kind of flows is, on the first one it says what the next one is going to look like, which is why I'm not going to show you the vinyl, because I'll just show you the back of this one. So, and then what all 5. So the themes are westerns, psycho, lounge, giallo, and passion. So yeah, so that's westerns dealt with. So this is my favourite because of my historic association with Western films, and I think it really flows and is really good as a concept. If you're into westerns and spaghetti westerns, that's a really interesting and enjoyable listen. In fact, I was because I've had these for over a year, I was kind of sampling some of the songs from each of these, some of the music from each of these, to try and remember what the differences were. When it came to the westerns, I ended up playing the double album all the way through. I enjoyed it so much again. So next up, as said, is Psycho. So this has got a spot varnished blood on it, but similar. It's numbered. It's got movie posters and stills from each of the films, and yeah, so this Psycho it's all that kind of horror, tension. It's got angular, jagged music orchestration going on, and in all of these, pretty much the vocal. So there are a few properly sung songs, and some of these have got vocals in. Typically, it's Eda Del Orso, who Ennio Morricone uses for most of his vocals, who does these wordless vocals where she uses her voice as an instrument to say create these wordless vocal accompaniments to the songs, or it's that really breathy, breathy. Which, dependent on whether you're listening, this is sound terrible, but depending on whether you're listening to something like The Psycho, means that she's about to be murdered. If you're listening to Passion, it means she's about to, reach success, some sexual fulfillment. And can you tell the difference between the two? Is where I was going with that, but I won't say that. So this is got films like The Secret, A Quiet Place in the Country, Devil in the Brain, Sonic Dimensions, Tie Me Up, Tie Me Down, Violent City, The Infernal Trio, Forbidden Photos of a Lady Above Suspicion. And just on that, so Forbidden Photos of a Lady Above Suspicion appears on at least 2 of these, and there are other films that appear on more than one of these releases. And that makes sense, because if you go and watch a film, even if it's a horror film, it isn't going to be horror and tension for the entire 90 minutes of the film. And that's probably part of the suspense, is it's going to move between, often, if it's got a decent storyline, it's going to go between romance and passion, and then kind of sort of some completely different scenes going on that have nothing to do with the horror, and then suddenly you're thrust back into the horror of the film, and part of the storyline. Yeah, I don't think it would work if you had a 90 minutes of full-on gore and tension music. I think you'd be exhausted at the end of it. So hence there's some crossover between different films, appear on different soundtracks, but clearly the music that's used on each soundtrack is in keeping with that film genre. So this Psycho tends to cover the sort of horror thriller side, and this is the booklet. So it's showing that the next one on orange vinyl is Lounge, which is this. So this one is strangely is the only one, and I don't know if this is right. It's got a slight bit of matte feel around the outside of this chair, but other than that, there's not much going on. And I don't know. This almost feels to me like they haven't finished it off. They've released it without the artwork being finished off. I may be wrong. If they didn't, it's not brilliant. But the music's good. Let's say it's on orange vinyl, so it's lounge. So this is a mixture of cocktail loungy style music. So that ranges from jazzy numbers, which are either upbeat or lush jazzy numbers, as you would want in a kind of loungy style setting. So I'll give a little bit about which is so it's and this one probably features a number of tracks, a number of films that I've got on quite a few of my other Ennio Morricone compilation albums, because I think these are some of his maybe obscure films, but the soundtracks seem to appear over and over again because the music is so good and perhaps even so sampleable. So it's got the like of we've got the Forbidden Photos of a Lady Above Suspicion again, but we've got the La Donna Invisible, which is the Invisible Woman, so that's a fantastic soundtrack. Verushka is another fantastic soundtrack, again obscure film. Slalom, and where is it? Madalena. Is it not on this one? Maybe it's on a different one. But yeah, those certainly feature an Alibi. So Alibi features 3 times on here. the Invisible Woman twice, Slalom twice, Verushka twice, I think. So yeah, those films I think are renowned for his sort of lounge style. So here is the insert for that, and it shows that Giallo is next, and this is the Giallo, and this is a much glossier, all gloss cover, but with a sort of spot, and again metallic spot on the knife, the dagger there. Again, it's got the films, and my understanding is so that Giallo is more like the police, detective, investigative type thriller films, and I think it comes from I think there was a series of books in Italy that had this yellow band or even yellow cover on all of them, hence Giallo is Italian for yellow, hence that was given to the film genre as well as the book style of, say, this thriller series. And this has got Spasm, or Spasmo is a film which is about spasm, but the song titles like Infinite Stress, The Serpent, Solange's End, Disgust, Lemon, Obstinacy, whatever that is, Glass Dolls, Foolish Suspension, Night Walk, In the Middle of the Chest, In the Void are the titles of the songs that are on, or tracks that are on this, and they come from films The Secret, Cat o' Nine Tails, Cold Eyes of Fear, Without Apparent Motive, Short Night of Glass Dolls, What Have You Done to Solange, Cold Eyes of Fear. Yeah, so all sorts of, you can imagine these are thriller, detective, crime based films. Crime is probably the term I should have used. So then there's the insert, and it shows that the final record coming next in the series is Passion. And so here is Passion, and what this has got almost a glittered on. This is a textured on the lips there, finish to it, and it's got that, which I don't really like. They've done quite a lot in the last few years. These are sort of like rubberized feel to the cover. It makes them blooming hard to get in and out of plastic sleeves. They did it on the Pink Floyd Endless River album, and because it's got that rubberized, it's not quite sitting properly. But anyway, fantastic. And so this has got a lot of lush orchestration on it, because the type of music it is about love and passion. So it's all very or say orchestral, with, say, the vocals, the romantic vocals of Edadel, also, shall we say, romance and love and passion. But it's got Verushka on it. It's got Maddalena, that's the one I was thinking of the other. So it's got Maddalena, so that's quite a famous Morricone film that's used for a lot of soundtracks. Again, What Have You Done to Solange is on here. Again, The Donna Invisible is on here. So there's a number of films that feature, as I say, in multiple releases, but that's because the nature of the music suits that release. But yeah, really good. And then so the final insert, and what it does this time, it just shows how they all fit together to show Morricone and but I think I'd have to crush it down to make it do exactly like that, as I showed you earlier. So that's it, VC. I just wanted to share a bit of this series that's cost me a fortune, and yeah, really enjoyed, because now I've got 5 themed comp albums on the wonderful music of Ennio Morricone. Okay, VC. Cheers, bye.